Hello, welcome to Retro Core, and it's time to do the gamer pickups. Man, it's been so long since we've done one of these, and as you can see we've got a nice big set of games here, so let's start off with the new ones. Okay, first up on this updated version of gaming pickups, we've got an Xbox One game, and it's an old one. Now I saw a video on, what was it, Digital Foundry, and they were saying that this has been updated with Xbox Series X, updates. So 4K, 60 frames per second, more damage debris, more graphical effects, and so on. So I thought, oh well, I'll get into that. So I bought the Xbox One version, since there is no Series X version, separate version. And yeah, I bought this thinking I'd get the download for free because that's what normally happens, and no. Had to buy the bloody download to upgrade it to the Series X version. What a rip! They didn't mention that on Digital Foundry, did they? Anyway, besides my complaining, this is a great game. It's basically like, it's Destruction Derby, isn't it? But for modern consoles. Drive around, smash the crap out of your cars, do races, all that good stuff. It's a great game, but of course being a modern game, we don't have any instruction manual with it. But we do get a free copy of Elden Ring. Not really. I have to put Elden Ring back into its proper case. Okay, sticking with the new games, we're going with some PlayStation 4 titles next. This is Final Vendetta. Now this only recently came out in Japan. In fact, it only came out a couple of weeks ago in Japan. And it's basically exactly the same as the Western release, except we've got a bit of Japanese there on the cover, a bit of Japanese on the spine, and of course Japanese on the back of the box. But if you don't know, this is an excellent 2D beat 'em up. Now, I was going to buy this and the Turtles game, what was it, Shredder's Revenge, whatever it was called. But the Turtles game was on Xbox Game Pass for free. So I played on that and I thought, you know what, it's good, but it's not that good. This is way better than the Turtles game, in my opinion. As far as solid beat 'em ups go, this is well up there. This is really good. And I do like the way that we get a nice color printed disc and some extra artwork on the inside. In fact, very Streets of Rage-esque artwork there. I do like that. I wish it was in color because I prefer this picture to the one that's on the front. Mainly because it's got the girl front and center. So yeah, if you are thinking of buying a new beat 'em up for your PlayStation 4, I would recommend Final Vendetta. Really good one. It's also on the Series X and so on, and the Switch, but I believe the Series X doesn't have a physical version, which is why I went for the PlayStation 4 version. Sticking with PlayStation 4, I've got another classic remake. This is Kenki Kaikai, better known as Porky and Rocky in the West. But I'm going to call it Kenki Kaikai because that's what it's called. This is from Natsume. And yes, it is kind of a remake of the first game on the Super Famicom. However, it's not a pure remake because once you get so far into the game, it does start to mix things up a little bit and you get new stages, new enemies, new bosses and new music and so on. But overall, it is an excellent shoot 'em up. It is a little bit tough. However, I finished it on my first go on normal settings, so it's not that tough. And of course on the inside we get a lovely color printed disc, as to be expected, and a bit of a reversible cover, but again it's in black and white, so it's not really much good for reversing. Definitely recommended if you're into your classic action style games. Okay, we're moving on to the retro stuff now. This is a what's this called? Zettai Zetsume Toshi on the PlayStation 2, better known as SOS The Final Escape, I believe, in PAL regions, and Disaster Report in the US. And yes, this is the disaster survival game, as you can see in the video up there. Taking a look through the manual, you will see that we have, that's an interesting page to open straight onto. We have little scenarios for each disaster that happens, as well as some character designs and some information about items you can pick up and so on. Basically, if you've never seen these games, it's it sets you out in the situation where a disaster happens and you have to survive, help people out, and basically do what's right to get by. Very interesting game, and it does have quite a few sequels as well. So yeah, an interesting one for sure. Another PlayStation 2 title here. This is Selfie. Now the original Selfie was made by Game Arts. This one is actually by Treasure. Now a lot of people don't like Selfie, but I like the original, and I also like the Mega CD version, even though the backgrounds are FMV. This PlayStation 2 version is even better. Really, really good. All real-time graphics. And as you can see from the back of the box there, it's pretty nice looking, as you'd expect for a Treasure title. I think the disc is actually in the PlayStation at the moment, so we can't see that. The instruction manual doesn't have anything outstanding in it, but we'll take a bit of a look over here. So we just got our normal selection of images, stage information, and so on. Nothing too outstanding there, but definitely a good game. Okay, time for the PlayStation games. So first up, I want to tell you about these two titles. These are known as Echo Knight. So we've got Echo Knight 1 and 2. These are from Software, and you may have not heard of these games before, and that's not surprising considering they're Japanese only. Basically what they are not survival horror games. Basically what you're doing is playing a detective of some sort and trying to solve crimes. And the way you solve the crimes is by not using the guidebook, but we've got the guidebook here, so I'll show you this. The way you solve the crimes is by replaying the actual events that happened in the game. You can't really see the screenshot's pretty dark. And you go through the scenarios of the game in 3D, it's in real time, and you look for clues and so on, try and figure out what happened. You put the pieces of the puzzle together and you find out, you know, what happened, and you solve the case. It's a pretty interesting game. It's a little bit difficult if you don't understand Japanese. This guide is not necessary, you can fumble your way through it, but yeah, I think to make the most of it you really do need the guide, and yeah, unfortunately the guide's in Japanese only. But there's some interesting titles that you may have never heard of. Echo Knight by From Software on the PlayStation. Pretty good. And here we go with another PlayStation game. This is Mecha Skymark Airline Pilot. So basically, in this game, you train to be an airline pilot. As you can see from the back of the box, you do certain tasks such as taking off, landing your plane, flying around the course in the sky, and things like that. I mean, there's nothing too amazing about it, and the graphics are, you know, reasonable, but it is kind of an interesting title. Not something that you would normally see. Of course, being Japanese, we're going to have all the anime pictures and so on. But it does go pretty in-depth, and you have different types of planes you can fly. As you can see here, we've got some standard passenger jets, we've got some private jets, and little biplanes, little propeller-driven planes as well. It's not a super easy game to get into. The controls do need a little bit of practice, but if you play flight sims and so on, you probably jump into this quite easily. But if you've never played flight sim type games, you may find this one a little bit tricky to get into. Overall though, not bad at all. I do quite like this one. Could do with a bit more content though, it's a little bit bare bones. Next up we got Gale Gunner, and this is complete and utter crap. It's by ASCII. So on the back of the box, let's get the instructions out so you can see it better. There we go, let's take a look at this. So basically it's a 3D mech game, and I thought this was going to be some sort of really cool, you know, mech shoot 'em up where you walk around long stages blowing other mechs to bits and so on. But no, it's more like you got these little tasks to do, these little missions, and yeah, you basically just go around killing one or two other mechs. In fact, I don't think there's any screenshots in here. That's how embarrassed they are. Yeah, basically the game looks like crap. It really does look bad. I mean, you got some screenshots on the back of the case there. Let me just put the camera into manual focus and see if we can focus in on that. There you go, you can see it, can't you? not exactly the most impressive looking games, is it? So yeah, that's Gale Gunner for you. Best leave that one in the pile if you ever see it. It's not very good at all, and it controls like crap. And sticking with another game that kind of controls like crap in some certain cases. This is a Lightning, what's this called? Defeat Lightning, by a very strange company known as D-Cruise. I don't know much about this company, but they have made other PlayStation games. Now on the back of the box, you can see that it is a kind of racing game, and you know, it plays okay. The disc's actually in the PlayStation at the moment, until you get to a certain stage, and then you know it just all falls to bits because it's impossible to win. Now this is a very strange one to play. Basically, you choose your mech or your ship or your car, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if we've got any pictures of those. Maybe we have later on. And you race around the course, and you basically got to get to the end of the course over various number of laps. Thing is, you also got to beat up the other players, kind of like a road rash style, as you're racing along these futuristic courses. Now, that's not a problem, but you have to beat them up because you need to get points in order to qualify and win. If you don't get points, you can't qualify, no matter even if you're first in the race. In fact, it doesn't matter what position you're in. It seems to be, your position seems to be determined by how many points you get and how many people you beat up, and God knows how it works. I'm really not sure. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest. Graphically, I mean, as you can see in the video up there, it's not too bad, is it? It looks pretty decent. But as a game, yeah, I mean, I did the first couple of courses, liked it, then I got to, I think it was like the 5th course, and I just can't do it. No idea what I'm meant to be doing to win. Anyway, that's that one. Next up, we got the first of 2 card captor Sakura games. Now, this particular game is a bit of a weird one. This one is known as Cloud... What the hell does that say? Cloud Card Magic, it says there. It says the same thing in Japanese as well. Now, when I saw the screenshots of this one, I thought it was like some sort of rhythm game. And you know, look from the video up there, it does look like a rhythm game, doesn't it? But it's not a rhythm game. I'm not sure what you'd call this thing. I mean, I've been buying some really weird games. So what you do is you just go down this course, collecting cards, hoping not to crash because you'll lose energy or whatever. And at the end, you get rewarded with some information. It's weird. And I really thought that this was going to be something special because it is by Akira. It's not Akira, sorry, Arika. And Arika is an offshoot of Capcom, and they did do the couple of 3D Street Fighter games as well. So I thought this was going to be something pretty interesting. But yeah, it certainly is interesting, but I don't know if you'd call it good. That's for sure. And the second of 2 card captor Sakura games. Again, this one is also by Arika. This is more of a traditional style RPG. Comes on 2 discs, as you can see. Now, 1 disc is going to be the game, the other disc is just bonus stuff. So it's not like a double disc game. So we've got like mini games here, as you can see there. Let's see if we can get that a little bit closer to the camera. As you can see here, we've got some mini games and stuff over there. And here's the actual main RPG section. As you can see, typical isometric RPG. Graphically, it's very nice. It's got the proper voice cast and so on, as you would expect. And overall, a very nice package. The only problem is, if you don't speak Japanese, you're not going to be able to play it very well. And here's an interesting one for all you shooting fans. This is the 3D Shooting School. Basically, it's a 3D shoot 'em up construction kit where you can make your own 3D shooters on your PlayStation. No need for some fancy hardware, make them on your own bog standard PlayStation. One game takes up a pretty big chunk of a memory card, mind you. It comes with a couple of sample games built in, as you can see in the video over there. Nothing too outstanding, but it is nice to dabble in it and make your own little games. Pretty interesting. Something else that's pretty interesting is this. This is Chaos Break. I would probably describe this as a survival horror game. If you've ever played Carrier on the Sega Dreamcast by Jaleco, it's kind of like that, but this is by Taito. It's, you know, it's got fully 3D rendered worlds. You walk around, you kill things, you solve little puzzles here and there, and yeah, you play as this girl. She's the main character. That's Miki, and we got Rick as well. Yeah, got to have a man and a female character. But yeah, it's an interesting title. It's certainly not going to beat the likes of Resident Evil or, you know, other survival horror game. In fact, you know what? I'd put this in the same camp as the Sega Saturn Deep Fear game. That's what this is like. So yeah, maybe not the best game out there, but certainly not a terrible game. Worth checking out. So there are my gaming pickups, but what about you guys? As usual, you've been buying a lot of good stuff, so let's check out the stuff that you've been buying. And remember, if you want to send in your pictures for the next gaming pickups video, send them to the email address just there, and I'll feature them on the next gaming pickups video. Okay guys, let's check out your stuff, and until next time, keep on gaming and enjoy your games. See ya.